Faye Garnett, District Agriculture Coordinator.
The situation with the bees at the Hawksworth Bridge, tell me, how did the department become aware of that?
The department received a call from the police department stating that there was a bee situation there on the bridge. So the officers from the office went to assess the situation, and we noticed that it was on an extremely high or elevated point of the bridge. With that, we had to do some collaboration with BEL and with the town board and the police department to get the officers out to assist us in directing the traffic. The extension officers went there with their proper bee equipment and the spraying equipment that they needed, and they were elevated to remove the hive from the bridge.
Was this the first time that that particular area had been infested with bees?
No, we have been receiving reports of bees on that bridge over the last at least 20 years or so. So it will always remain a problem there. But the department will look at other ways in how we could try to coordinate with maybe the fire department to assist us in cleaning the area and making it a little bit more not so attractive for the bees to come and establish themselves there.
How busy has the department been in terms of dealing with the situation of Africanized bees infestation?
Only for this month alone, we received as much as 42 bee cases throughout the Kaya district, mostly in the areas of Belmopan, in San Ignacio, and the surrounding villages like Sokot. We have some in Cristo Rey, in Tea Kettle, and other villages in the district.
If anybody suspect that they have a problem with bees, what is your advice to them?
If they have any problems with bees, we would encourage them to call the department. The number is 804-2079, and they would be able to call and state the situation that they have, where the bee is located, give us a contact number, and the officers will respond as quick as possible.
Is this time of the year what you would call bee season, if you will?
Yes, definitely. What happened is during this period, we have a lot of flowering plants. We have mangoes and crabo and all these different fruit trees that are flowering, which provides the food to the bees. So this is when they're most active, seeking their food to bring back to their hives to feed themselves. So this is definitely the most active season of the year.
A sting from a bee is not only painful, but it could kill, right?
Definitely. As we've seen with the case up north that happened before, so we need to be very careful with this with the bee situation. So again, I would like to encourage all the persons that have problems with bees to call the office and let us go out and assess the situation and try to deal with it the best possible way to avoid any kind of problems.
Tell me your name and your position.
Leonardo Solomon Sid, Cooperative Department.
What was the situation out at the Hawksworth Bridge this morning? When you got there, what did you find?
Actually, the situation was that the bees were already swarming out of their nest, and with the assistance of the electricity board truck, along with the San Ignacio, Santa Elena transport officers, we were able to start to control the flow of traffic. That was the first priority. And at the same time, whilst the beekeepers, that will be Extension Officer Jesse Madrid and William Khan, were getting ready to perform the work that they went to eradicate the bees that were located at the very top tower of the Hawksworth, we were able to start to let the people know the pace that they needed to move, so that when the time the trucks were lifting the beekeepers to do their works, everything was already set.
Now, in terms of handling the bees that were there, were they removed or were they killed? Were they eradicated?
Based on the location, it would have been difficult to salvage the bees. Therefore, what we had to do is to actually kill them using the shell tox. And at the same time, whatever honeycomb was available, which was totally destroyed, and we could not say, well, we will bring it because it was already contaminated, so that's totally destroyed. And so it is very sad to say that we have to do that, but in the case of urgency, the demand that is to destroy other bees on the other side, and actually on both towers of the bridge, we had to destroy the hives that were already established.
As you were there on scene, was it a very big hive on both towers?
In that regards, I cannot ascertain that, but based on what the two extension officers said, and it seems from the amount of wax that was destroyed, was pulled off or taken out from the area where the bees was located. The first one on the tower heading towards the police station, it had a small one, but actually I would say close to about 10,000 bees. Mm-hmm. And then the second one, which was on the Santa Elena side, that seemed to have had over 20,000 bees because according to Extension Officer Khan and Madrid, the amount of bees was much larger.
Mm-hmm. This is a recurring situation where, as the agriculture officer said, over 20 years, do you suspect that those bees will be back maybe next year or even later this year?
Again, as Ms. Garnett said, the coordination is needed along with the fire department to pressure wash where the nest was. Otherwise, the same scent from the wax that is left there will attract a new colony. It will not be the same ones that were left, those that were collecting honey during the morning time or when the nest was destroyed. But it might be a new colony that will be swarming around and might find that attractive. So this will be a problem if the coordination is not done with the assistance of the fire department to pressure hose it. Then we will have that situation next year again. And as we were able to see today, two persons who, after about 30 minutes when the first tower was eradicated, the bees was eradicated, and two persons who were crossing, we thought that it was somewhat safe, and the guys on the other side told them that it will be on their own risk. But unfortunately, two of them had one sting. Mm-hmm. So we call on people to, whenever they see that the operation is taking place in killing bees, that they keep as far as possible.
Your name and your position?
My name is Mario HOWE. I'm an extension officer in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Tell me about the bees that were destroyed this morning. What kind of bees do we have in Belize?
Well, since 1987, the introduction of the Africanized bee has introduced into Belize, and that has caused a whole class of our bees that was first, and now we have one type of bees, which is the Africanized bees.
So we have lost our domestic bees that we traditionally had here.
Yes, and now our beekeepers are working what is the Africanized bees, but they have to do a selection.
In terms of the characteristics or the behavior of these bees, how different from the bees that we had before, prior to 1987?
Well, they are characterized to be more productive, in which they produce more swarm than the European type of bees that we have. Includes it's roughly about, they produce 12 times more than the European bees now, and they produce more honey than the European bees as well.
In terms of the aggression, they're far more aggressive than the European bees.
Well, we call it aggressive or defensive now, because in protecting their colony, they defend themselves. In defend themselves, they attack people as well. No? Mm-hmm. That is where we have a lot of incidents. So.
Okay. These bees, where do they do they have a preference as to where they go to make their hives?
Not really. Once there is any opening, holes in buildings and old tires, old garbage around, they will tend to establish their nest there. No? Mm-hmm. Once the place is suitable for them, they will establish their nest.
People are being asked to be vigilant and to look out for them. But do you see these bees coming, or do they come one at a time and until you find that there's a big bunch of bees?
No, once they have scouting bees moving around. No, once the scouting bees identify a spot, then you will see more and more bees they come in. No? Mm-hmm. And then eventually, in a matter of maybe a couple hours, you will see all the bees bunch up together. Yeah.
The way these operate, if I remember correctly, is that where there's a swarm, there's always a queen, and then the others are around that queen.
That is normal, yes, but with the exception of Africanized bees, as I tell you, they tend to produce more. In most cases, in one swarm, you will tend to find more than one queen. So we have experience of finding maybe 2 or 3 queens in our swarm.
How does the queen differ from the ordinary bee?
It's a little bit larger from the abdomen. It's a little bit. It's more. It's larger,
Okay.
and the abdomen is larger as well. No, so you could easily differentiate it. No,
Okay.
and the queen is the only bee that lays eggs within the colony. Yeah.
If somebody finds that there are bees in their homes or in their yard, what's your advice to them?
Well, I think the first advice is to try get to the department information one time that bees is around, no? So that we could do the relevant thing in dealing with the situation. No?
So you wouldn't advise anybody to try to remove these bees by themselves?
Not really. No, we don't. It's not recommendable. No.
Is it possible that we might see sometime in the future a return to the European bees that we are accustomed to, or we were accustomed to prior to 1987 in Belize?
No, not at all. That is, I think that type of bees is over. So we'll have to live with Africanized bees now.
Okay.
Even though we try to, at the production side, I would attack at the production side. Now, when beekeeper works, they probably would do selection of bees that behaves pretty good, no? Mm-hmm. And colonies that behave pretty bad, they will tend to get rid of it. So it's just a selection that they normally do. If you bring in new breeds, probably it will work a couple year, 1 year, then it cross again, then you reach to a point again that it's Africanized. So it doesn't work now.
In terms of the Africanized bee, what sets them off? What noise, scent, what really gets them off?
Well, it's the behavior, how people work the bees now. Because if a beekeeper goes and rough up his colony, the bees will get mad as well. So it depends how you handle the bees. If you handle with care, no problem, no? Mm-hmm. But smoking is very important when you work in bees, no? Because when you smoke bees, they tend to consume your honey. And when they consume your honey, their stomach gets full, so they can't fly and sting. So that is what the smoke does, no?
Okay. I was going to ask that because I noticed that people usually go with a smoke can. That's what it does.
That is what the smoke does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to differentiating or knowing that it's a bee nest and not a wasp nest, how do you differentiate? Because
wasp nests, it's pretty small than a regular honeybees, no? Honeybees tend to move more in larger quantities, no?
Okay.
Yeah, and they tend to live in holes instead of the wasp. The wasp would build their nest outside, no?
Yeah. And how much longer should we expect to be experiencing this heightened activity with Africanized bees?
Well, the peak of the swarm problem here in Belize is during the honey flow. Our honey flow probably has changed a little bit due to climatic condition, no? Climate change, no? It normally starts around February, what I said, to May, and then it tends to ease down again, no? Okay. Yeah.
So we are approaching the tail end of this current cycle.
Yes, at this point, yes. Maybe for the next month or so, then that's it, no? May.
So between now and then, you guys will keep pretty busy at the department.
Well, yes. Pretty sure we'll be busy.